And he really could not abide by standard models. So he'd convert like fuck all the time, man. Like, you rarely ever... Like, out of his army, he had pretty much every fucking armor. You'd rarely ever see a standard issue model. Never. Very, very rare. Only like characters, you like the heroes and shit like that, would you see a standard model. Even then, though, he'd paint them differently, like way different colours than usual, what he thought he'd like to have them look like. Or he'd add extra bits and shits on them. He was a conversion fiend. And some miniature and Warhammer or wargame players, some wargamers are like that. They're just conversion fiends. They get the standard stuff and they just convert the absolute fuck out of them. They really do. This is the backside of him. Really, really good job though, dude. That is like a very top... Like I say, Arisen's Dark Angel conversion, pro as fuck, looks so menacing. And that is fucking also quite menacing. Would not fancy the old death roller coming at you. Very, very cool, dudes. Very cool. Got some talented conversionists in the community. Very, very cool. OTG, do you play/know about War Machine? I don't play it. I don't play any war games or anymore. I could not call myself a war gamer. In the past, definitely hardcore war gamer. But nowadays, no. I think it was since about 15 or something like that. I stopped playing war games, 14 or 15, and I've not been back, unfortunately. I loved it. I really did. But I got converted to the dark side. Basically, you can draw a direct route between getting the internet and fucking off everything else in my life. Pretty much. There's a direct correlation. Got internet, got no else. Everything else got all my other hobbies. Lots of other shit stuff like that. Single player games got dropped entirely to play multiplayer only. The net just changed a lot of my fucking habits, really. But very, very awesome there, dude. Very cool. Like I say, some talented conversionists and wargamers in the community. But yes, like I say, I don't play War Machine, but I've heard it's actually very good. Very, very good. I've seen the miniatures to it. The miniatures are awesome. Really, really like Games Workshop kind of level stuff. Because you can fault Games Workshop for many things, like gouging and etc. and so on and stuff like that. But you can never fault Games Workshop for the miniature quality. Not that I've seen. Very, very, very solid. I've never seen a bad Games Workshop miniature. I've seen a hell of a lot over the years. I mean, I don't know what it's like nowadays, but the old days, very awesome. And the War Machine miniatures look very, very nice as well. And I've heard the game is actually really fun to play as well. Like, really, really good. But I've not played it myself. I think if I was going to get back into something, I'd contemplate War Machine. I think it's about a year ago I was contemplating buying some miniatures and painting them up and, you know, playing the game and stuff like that. I was contemplating for War Machine. But Claire likes fantasy kind of stuff. Like the miniatures and just fantasy in general over sci-fi. She likes cats too. So I was like, maybe not War Machine. It's probably going to be better playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle instead. And then we never did that. But we didn't do that yet, neither. At some point, it seems like at some point it's going to happen, but not yet. It's an expensive thing to undertake. It's like buying the game and buying the miniatures and buying all the paints and all the crafting shit and everything needed. It's like it's not a cheap hobby.
When we're multi-billionaires, then we might be able to.
I don't think you quite need the millions and billions, but it is an expensive hobby. You can sink as much money into the hobby as you've got. It is an expensive hobby. Seen any good films lately, OTG? Yes, but I can't remember them all. But the one that springs to mind is the... That wasn't the one that sprung to mind, but yes, I watched How to Train Your Dragon with Claire. That was actually quite enjoyable, to be fair.
It was fucking brilliant!
that was quite an enjoyable film. That wasn't bad at all. And I also watched the remake of Old Boy. And I think I tweeted about it, saying it's not as good as the original. Because the original is actually very... If you've not seen Old Boy, the original one, go and have a watch of that, dudes. If you come away from that and going, fucking hell, OTG, you wasted an hour and a half or so of my time there, I'd be amazed. I'd be like, sorry, dude, but, you know, I'd be surprised if you like films like that. Obviously, like it's like a what is it now? Like thriller action sort of deal. I don't know the exact genre type for it. I'm not as savvy with films as games and shit like that, but I do watch a lot. But I'm not as savvy with the overall technical terms and shit for that. But
About old boys, then this film's for you.
well, I'm not spoiling not to do with it whatsoever. But the original is fantastic, and I actually the remake got slammed pretty hard. It's Spike Lee that directed it and shit like that, but he got slammed pretty fucking hard. And famous guy.
Thank you, Liam.
That's all right. Very descriptive. It got slammed really hard. I don't think it deserved to be slammed really hard. I think it's not a bad remake of the original. It doesn't quite capture some of what makes the original Old Boy what it is, but it's a different culture that made that film, so it's actually quite hard to emulate that. I think he did a damn good job. I honestly do. I stand by the remake of Old Boy as a good fucking film. Doesn't matter if you've seen the original or not. It's still a damn good film. I enjoyed it. I did. I mean, like I said, I can see why folk would lay into the remake, but personally, I enjoyed the remake. I really did, and I wouldn't say a bad word against it, other than it's not as good as the original, which is it's always a tall order when a film's or a game is really good, and then someone else comes along and tries to remake it. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is out in cinemas in July.
I know.
Oh, Claire knows. I thought I was telling her something she didn't know
I
there.
told you this.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah, sorry. I remember.
No, you don't. Don't listen to me.
Don't you henpeck me.
Don't listen to me.
I heard.
I'm so sad.
Oh, you fucking peck me.
So you get.
You can only watch Old Boy one time, though. That's why I won't tell you anything about the story. It is a one-shot. I mean, you can go back and watch it again, but you only get... It's like Breaking Bad, but even worse than that. For being something that's incredible the first time you watch it, but loses a lot when you know what's happening and what's gonna happen. It takes away, like say Breaking Bad, the suspense and the tension is what makes it as great as what it is. But that obviously only happens once. It's not a double-edged sword, but it kind of is at the same time.
Triple-edged sword.
It makes it incredibly good on the first time, but it's never going to be as good as the first time you saw that episode or that film. Never going to be as good. It's never going to be as good as like waiting for that next season to come out and see how it's going to develop and what's going to go down, because you couldn't really call much in Breaking Bad. It had its own shit, and you couldn't go, well, based on, because I'm actually quite the pro at going, based on usual movie or TV show trends and blah blah blah, I reckon this might happen, and I'm usually more right than wrong, aren't
I'm trying to watch Lost with you. It's like, fuck off, Liam. No, we're gonna have to do.
calling shit in Lost and stuff like that, even though I've not seen it. But if a TV show follows any semblance of something I've seen before in a TV show or a movie, I can smell it a mile away. I'm like a bloodhound when it comes to detecting patterns. Oddly enough, but although saying that, I mean, like I say, like compared to how I play games, you might be forgiven for thinking differently. But no, I mean, really, when you think about it, I specialise in blind playthroughs, which requires adaptation and pattern finding as quickly as possible. So it's no surprise, really. If you want to be a blind playthrougher, like I say, you could be forgiven for thinking otherwise based on how I've done in the past and shit like that. Fair enough, varying degrees of fail and shit. But to be a blind playthrougher, you need to be, you need to be able to spot patterns to get through the game at a reasonable pace, because you don't know, as I always say. I don't know. So you need to be able to spot stuff as fast as possible. Patterns and figure it out, and like I say, you can apply the same kind of method to films and games and films and TV shows and shit like that. If you've seen enough, anyway. I also think that's how I get by games in most of the time. Anyway, like, well, based on previous games and other games and shit like that, this is usually how it works. And there you go. You need that. You need that to do blind playthroughs and stuff like that. You need to be able to draw from that well of previous games. General mechanics, and that's probably why I like fucking Metal Gear so much, because a lot of time it just throws me well off. Like holes in fences. What the fuck is that? I've never seen a hole in a fence in a game ever. No, actually, that was obviously bullshit though, because it's like there's plenty of fucking holes in fences in games. It's the worst example I could have thought of. But like I say, that's the core mechanic of blind playthroughing. Number one, being able to look foolish and not care. You need to like not have like an ego about it, like, oh, I can't let people see me playing a game badly. It's like, I'll just fucking drag your ass into Quake 3, mate, and beat it. I'll beat that ass. So I don't have any hang-ups about like the first time playing a single player game and not knowing what to do or getting stuck on a bit. It's like, well, yeah, fair enough. You know, it's fair enough. So you need that kind of mentality, and like I say, being able to detect patterns and get through the game. Not like as quickly as possible, like rushing it wise, but I mean like not being stuck on one bit for fucking ages. So you need to be able to detect patterns and figure shit out, and also play well sometimes. But like I say, you could be. This just sounds like bullshit when I say it. It's like.
I was gonna say not getting stuck on one bit for ages. There were like quite a few instances.
Well, that's what. Yeah. Well, no. It shows you the varying degree of games that I've played over the years. Even with what I've just said there, you know, sometimes you need to play well, and sometimes you need to detect patterns quickly and shit like that. You know, there's always going to be something that just fucks you up. I actually tend to fuck myself up more than anything. I overthink stuff. The game will be like, just do what you did in other games. It's not like, this is a usual mechanic. But I'll think it's asking for something way more advanced than what it actually is. Way more advanced. That's when I fuck myself up. Like the hole in the fence, for example. That's an example of overthinking shit. And then there's times when shit is just genuinely fucking hard, and that's when you gotta bring out the fucking second gear. When you gotta bring out fucking gear 2. And, there is examples of me getting fisted, even in fucking gear 2, like Nemesis and Resident Evil 3 kicked my ass. Really fucking did. And Crucifix, he kicked my ass. Cotton Alley kicked my fucking... I got kicked by an entire alley. Kicked in the ass. So, like I said, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but that's just the general rule and stuff like that. Like I say, you need to not give a shit, you know, like, if you look bad when playing a game, because it's like... I mean, I consider that part of the fun, but, you know, some folk don't like to look bad playing games. It's like, well, me, I get... If you want to, like, talk about gaming confidence and stuff like that, then for me personally, it'd come from first-person games. So I don't have no hang-ups or like that. It's like, look, I could always just drag you over in a fucking first-person game and rape you. We're talking like, you may as well, you know, there's a pool table already, but you may as well get a second one ordered, because that fucker's going to be ground down to a stub by the time I'm done with you. You know? So like I said, I don't have no hang-ups about looking bad in single-player games, and like I say, detecting patterns and playing well. So sometimes I don't play to like 100%. I'd say I only fucking give it like 50% most of the time. I'm lazy. I think Gear 2 is actually playing at full speed. You know, like the full strength, giving it normal amount, like as much as you can. I'd say the third gear is when you give it that extra bit, that time when you play that bit better than you ever did normally. You pull off something, it's like, fucking hell, I couldn't do that again if I tried. That's gear 3.
What, like when you mash buttons into a fucking keypad and randomly guess?
My keypad spammage is legendary.
It is.
It's like, you should never be able to get it, but I do. And I'd say like 50% of the keypads I've come across, I've been able to spam them into submission. Brute force.
Stupid.
And you'd never be able to get them, should you? You should never be able to get them. Never. Never, 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 never. But like I say, that's what I was saying, guys. That's what, for blind playthroughs, don't give a shit about looking bad, because that's part of the fun. That's part of the style of blind playthrough. And, but you need to have those gaming skills in your back pocket as well, you know. Being able to play good if you have to. And, being able to detect patterns so that you don't get stuck for too fucking long on certain bits. That's the core mechanics to a blind playthrough. There you go. I told you learn the little bits and bobs. Nobody really gives a shit. But still, I like to talk about the mechanics of playthroughing and commentary and stuff like that from time to time.
This cat is being annoying. I'm gonna come and just sitting beneath the camera. What's that?
The cat sat under the fucking tripod, pretty much.
Come on, you go on the camera now. Come on.
Yes, let's not forget the Sonic Free Barrel as well. Like I say, that's an example of overthinking.
No!
No. Oh,
She's deliberately sat out of range now.
oh, did you ever thought about playing a little Team Fortress again? Not recently, dude. Not recently. But you know, maybe we can organise a community. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Like I said,
Right now, let's go. Fucking go.
these are just ideas. But maybe at some point, because everybody's got Team Fortress 2. It's free, isn't it? So that'd make. We should have played Team Fortress 2 by now. That's like a good community game. Excuse me. That's a good community game, isn't it? Just hijack a server. Here we go. Here's a 0 out of 20 server. And just get everybody on there then. I don't mind if I didn't even think of Team Fortress 2. We'll do that at some point, dudes. Quake 3 and TF2 are ideal community games. They're both free to play. They both pick up and play. You don't need to have leveled up or done anything like that. Ideal. Yeah, we'll do that at some point, dude. At some point. Kind of worried about Games Workshop's handling of their license for video games recently. Tell me about it. Games have been cancelled that people wanted. There's the games that are coming out are like hyper casual. Hyper casual. Like there's one that came out recently that's like Plants vs Zombies, isn't there? But it's like with Space Marines and Orcs. It's like, what the fuck is this? Just give us the tabletop game and a PC game for Christ's sake.
Christ's sake.
Oh my god. I mean, the only good Games Workshop games really were the old Warhammer games and Dawn of War. I mean, Space Marine looks alright, but a bit samey, but it looks alright. But, like, just give us the fucking tabletop games. Oh, well, we don't want people to lose interest with the real thing. We want people to buy miniatures. It's like, you're not... People... The people that are already doing, like, wargaming as a hobby are gonna continue doing it. They like to paint the miniatures. They like to play the game with other people and socialise. They're gonna carry on. You're not gonna lose fucking miniature sales. You're not gonna lose people buying the game. You're gonna be alright. All you're gonna do is bring in an entirely new audience of people that play the game and go, fuck me, this is fun. I actually want to play the real game with people. And I actually want to paint the miniatures and collect an army. Games Workshop, man, they make some questionable decisions over the years, like with the prices and like the games, like you say, and other shit like that. Very, very strange. Yet recently, Space Marine and Dawn of War ignore everything else. Pretty much, Cyrus, on the nail on the head shit. If you want to go back in time, Shadow of the Horned Rat, you know, the Warhammer fantasy games weren't too bad neither. I actually enjoyed them at the time. They were pretty fun. But, like, I don't know, you might struggle to play fucking... I don't know if you could even run that Shadow of the Horned Rat and stuff like that nowadays, but... Right, anyway, dudes, I shall take my leave and fill my belly. Oh, my tummy, sorry. Misquoted South Park there.
Get in my tummy.
Those fucking otters, man. No, were they otters? Sea otters or something like that.
Rub them on my tummy.
I shall smash your skull like a something on my tummy. Like a clam on my tummy, that's it. I shall smash your skull like a clam on my tummy. Very, very good. Very good. Like I say, dudes, really good night there. I fucking enjoyed this I don't know. I expected to enjoy South Park, but not to the same level I actually did. It actually impressed me. It's been very refreshing to go into a game. Like, I have to go into games nowadays so neutral. I can be excited, like I am for Dark Souls and Titanfall and stuff like that. But I've been so disappointed with AAA. AAA in the past few years or more has been ghastly. And I've been disappointed after disappointed after fucking disappointed with every fucking AAA game. So I went into South Park going, I'm not going to be disappointed again. I'm just going to take it however it is. And it's very refreshing to actually be impressed. And even if I've gone in there like really like looking forward to it and excited and stuff like that, it has still impressed me. And it has still been as great as what it was. So that was South Park was genuinely refreshing. Not only a good game, and that's refreshing, but actually a good TV show to game. That will be the game that people point to and go, you can actually make a good game of a TV show or movie. South Park did it, but South Park's probably the exception. I doubt we'll see another good TV to game like that in a long time. So good shit there, good shit. More South Park next time, or episode 2. We're going to try and get both dueling best we can. And like I say, into the week, we'll be leading up to Dark Souls 2, hopefully, on Thursday, sorry. And Titanfall on Friday. When things settle down a little bit, You know I'm gonna be over Metal Gear Solid 4, man. You fucking know it. I know it. And now you know it. Cause I'm dying, man. I've got Grumpy's copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 fucking... It's sat literally right next to me. It is reminding me daily how much I want to play that game. I'm not gonna remove it until I play it. It's just gonna wind me up and wind me up and wind me up until I can't help but play it. So it's gonna happen. This year, dudes. 6 years from Metal Gear Solid 1 to 2, and then I do 2, 3, and 4 in the same fucking year. Probably the same half a year. It's like people were saying earlier on, like Squad and stuff like that. It's gonna be a good HTSF year, dudes. It's gonna be a good stream year. It really is. It's shaping it well. It's shaping it well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Big thanks to everybody that both watched and joined into the Quake game. Always nice to play some Quake with y'all. You know me, I love them Quakes, and I love playing some games with y'all as well. I like the community games. Good shit. And thanks to everybody that tipped. Most appreciated, very kind. Misty Pony, Blood Reaper, Cartman even threw one down. But I know who that is.
Is it the real Cartman?
It's not the real Cartman.
You sure?
I am sure, but I do know who that is. Sean, we've got Psychic Vampire, Who Done It, Valran, Mr. Grumpy Gills, Helga, and Stumpy. Oh, my apologies. He didn't go to War Boss College just to be called Stumpy. It's War Boss Stumpy. No, War Boss, sorry. But no, actually I was correct. It is actually a War Boss College that you would go to become a War Boss or whatever like that, but... Stumpy. Like I said, big thanks to you all there. Much kind. Such wow. Thank you. Huh? Keith. It wasn't even his actual name.
No, it's not.
He's had like 3 names. Well, no, 2 names from you, hasn't it?
The Great Keith, Stumpy,
Clayman giving Stumpy like fucking 40 names or something like that. So there we go, dudes. Like I say, good shit, good shit. And, you know, I was gonna jump straight to the sign off, but I'm gonna do it proper. It doesn't feel right if I don't sign off the old school Liam way. Here we go. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See you, dudes.